Alright, so this is just a real brief introduction onto the BlueJ development environment, how to kind of set stuff up and go from it. So this is the icon that you'll see down here. When you load it up to begin with the first time, it will likely prompt you to take part in their evaluation. You can say yes or no, and then it brings you up with this blank screen. And so you have this one file here, this text file here, which is this README file. If you double click on things, that will open them up. You can also right click and open them as well. And so you'll create a new project, you open a project that you already have. Usually you'll just create a new project and then save it to the correct location. When you do that, I saved it to the desktop. It makes this file structure here. And if we open up these folders, you'll see that what we have here is the BlueJ package and then that one README file that we created that was the default piece that was there. So if we want to make something, we right click and we can say new class, or we can go edit new class or new package, but usually we just want to right click. So we're going to right click, call it new class, and I'll call it student. I have all my different options for an abstract interface, applet, unit test. This one I have installed to have a Carol class. You may or may not have that. But we'll just hit OK. And you can see it has this kind of visual UML piece that we have attached to it. And so you can drag this and resize. You can move it around the screen. It doesn't really matter. When it has these diagonal lines, it's not compiled. So you can right click and try to compile it and see that it compiles. You can see down here it's compiling, and then when it does compile, it should say compile OK, and then these lines will go away. It's taking it a second here to do that. Alright, so you can see they compiled, and now it looks like this. It means there's no syntax errors. It should be able to be run. If you look inside here, this is just the default BlueJ template. You can see that we have some instance variables, we have a constructor, we have one method that it takes. And so if we want to change that, obviously we can. We can make another class. I'll call it student driver. And if I, in here, was to change some stuff, so my class student driver, and I would make a main method, and make an instance of student. I can compile it. I hit Control K, or I compile, and I get no syntax errors. And now what you'll see is that it's connected these two. So this is creating this UML diagram, which means that this is an instance, this driver has an instance of student. And if I want to run something, so let's say I want to run a method in here, I have options. I can right click this, and I can see I have one method, which is the main method. So I could run that, and that's kind of your standard, you hit OK, your standard runner client class relationship. Nothing happens because we haven't done anything with those pieces. You also have, unique to BlueJ, the ability to create an object. So this is kind of a way to get around unit testing for us. So I can create an object and then inspect it. So if I want to make a student object, I could just, in this case, call it Joe. That's the name attached to it. And you can see down here it's created this object representation down here on this this part of the screen. And so now I have the ability, if I right click on this, I can inspect the pieces. I have that one method available to me, and so you can see that I could actually pull this sample method up. It takes parameters. It takes an integer y. I could say give it 4, and then it would tell me what it returns. And so this is a way that you can test your objects pretty easily within there. So you can, that's your starting structure. There are ways that you can change the way that it looks. So preferences, you can see that in here, if I double click on that, right, that BlueJ has kind of tried to show me what it should look like in terms of the braces. So if something is blocked correctly, it will kind of color code it. So if I take off one of these braces, you can see all that nice color coding goes away. Some people don't like that, so you have the ability to change that with your preferences. So you can go to preferences, If you want to kind of take that away, you can move this to be lighter, and then when you open this up, right, that's all gone, and that's a more kind of standard IDE look. I'll leave those in there for now. One thing that you can change the font size would be to make sure that the line numbers are displayed. Right, those are going to be really helpful for debugging. You have all the different key pieces that you can put together. You can add all of these pieces. You can add all the author stuff, but for the most part, what you're going to be doing is just in here creating your classes. You're going to then compile it, make sure it still works. You do have this option to add these relationships, but you would want the code to take care of that. You don't want to add these on your own. So what you want to do is make sure that this instance of Joe, right, will put that arrow in there. It will draw it automatically if things are structured the right way. It will save every time you're compiling, so you can see, let's say that we have something here, and I change this instance variable to be a 6, or sorry, 5, and then I have the option to save it, right? I could save it if it's not compiling. Let's say that I had this piece gone and it won't compile there. It'll kick an error, right? But I needed to save it. I could just hit save, and then it would be saved. So every time you try to compile it, it will save automatically as well. But it's good to get in the habit of compiling. So now we can see what we have here. Again, I'll compile this. We look back at that folder structure, and BlueJ is populating it with those pieces. So we have those two Java files. This is that student class, this is the student driver, right? These are the class files, again, all within that package. And if we wanted to make another sub package, so let's say I had tests, makes this little folder, and then I can double click on that and put things in there. And what the package will do will be allow me to have the same class title in a different package. And so this will compile. I have a student class here, a student class there. If I try again to make another student class here, it's going to have a problem. You can't have the same class name in the same package. And so if we look back at the folder structure of what happened here, we'll see that it's created that folder tests, which then creates student. So they're in separate directories, which means that they can exist with the same file name. All right, that's it. There's also lots of tutorials online that you can find, but that should get you going.